Have you ever walked into a room and felt the atmosphere shift before you even said a word? A sudden stillness, conversations pause, eyes linger a second too long. It's as if the energy adjusts itself when you arrive, not because of how you look or what you wear, but because of something deeper, something most can't explain. If this happens to you, it's not random, and it's not coincidence. It's a spiritual signal you can't ignore. Your presence isn't ordinary. It disrupts, it awakens, it exposes, and once you understand why, you'll never see yourself the same way again. Today, we'll uncover 7 powerful reasons your energy breaks every room you enter. Stay until the very end, because the last reason is the one most chosen ones never realize, and it will make sense of everything. Before we dive in, if your spirit already feels this message is for you, hit like, subscribe, and type the number 7 in the comments. 7 carries the energy of divine completion, and maybe this word will complete something in you today. Take a deep breath. Stay close. What I'm about to share will explain the strange reactions you've been getting and why you can't afford to shrink your light anymore. Number 1. Your presence disrupts hidden darkness. Picture a quiet room, curtains drawn, dust floating in the dim air. Then suddenly, someone opens the window. Light floods in. The dust dances, and shadows reveal what's been hiding. That's what happens when you walk in. You may not see it, but spiritually, light enters with you. Not forced, not boasted about. It's simply who you are. People feel it. Some don't know why, but they feel exposed. Conversations shift, masks slip, even for a moment, and those comfortable in the dark grow restless. This is why you can enter a place calm, and within minutes, sense tension. It's not your imagination, it's the unseen reacting. And not everyone will thank you for it. Some avoid your eyes, some get defensive, some decide they don't like you without knowing a thing about you. Why? Because your energy reveals what's hidden, not by accusation but by presence, and darkness resists exposure. Think back. Moments you tried to fit in, yet people kept their distance. Environments where you barely spoke, yet became the center of unspoken tension. That wasn't rejection of you. It was resistance to what you carry. Your calling isn't just about action. It's about the atmosphere you shift by showing up, and that carries responsibility. Light must shine. It cannot hide. So stop taking others' discomfort as a personal attack. Their reaction speaks more about their hidden darkness than your worth. Walk with awareness. You're placed in dark spaces not to blend in, but to reveal truth and protect your energy. Having light doesn't mean letting it be drained in every room. And sometimes, your silence will speak louder than words, which takes us to the next reason, why even without talking, you've unsettled people, and why that's not weakness, but a spiritual weapon. Number 2, your silence is louder than words. There's a stillness that speaks, not awkward, not timid, powerful, like the quiet before a storm. The air feels heavier, every sound sharper, every heartbeat louder. That's the energy you carry when you choose silence. Some use noise to control a room, dominating conversations, tossing words like confetti to distract from truth. But you don't play that game. You don't fight for attention. You don't need to. And that unsettles them. Because silence demands honesty. When you listen, when you hold eye contact without rushing to fill space, it forces people to face what lies beneath their words. Spiritually, your silence works like a mirror, reflecting what's inside, whether they like it or not. For those in truth, your silence feels safe. For those hiding, it feels threatening. You've likely heard, "You're so quiet, it's intimidating," or watched people overshare without you asking. That's because your silence isn't empty. It's full of presence, full of discernment, full of something they can't name, but can't ignore. Silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It gives truth space to breathe, and in a noisy world, that's rare. Sometimes God puts you in rooms not to speak, but to witness, not to argue, but to observe. Observation reveals what words can't. This is why you may feel drained after interactions, even without speaking much. Your spirit was reading the room. Your discernment was active. That takes energy. So never let anyone shame you for being quiet. Quiet doesn't mean weak. It means strategic. It means your spirit leads before your mouth moves. And it's not just people who feel your silence. The spiritual realm does too. Which leads to the next reason. Why atmospheres shift the moment you arrive, even if you stay in the background. Number 3. The spiritual atmosphere shifts when you arrive. Think about incense. The instant it's lit, fragrance begins to spread. Slow at first, then filling every corner. It changes the air. It changes how people feel, even if they can't explain why. That's what your energy does. When you enter, you're not just another body in the room. You bring a frequency, a vibration, a presence. People adjust to it, whether they realize it or not. For some, it feels like peace, like a weightlifting. For others, it feels like pressure, like being pushed to face something they've avoided. It's not about speaking loudly or demanding attention. It's about the charge your spirit carries, a spiritual signature that interacts with everything around you. And here's what many chosen ones don't realize. The shift happens whether you want it to or not. You can try to downplay yourself, hide in the back, but the atmosphere notices. Spirit recognizes spirit. Have you ever felt the mood change within minutes of arriving? A tense room softens. Or the opposite. Smiles fade, conversations cut short. That's not social awkwardness. It's a spiritual reaction. This isn't always comfortable. Shifts draw attention, not always the good kind. Some are drawn to you, others pull back. Both are reacting to the same presence. That's why you must be intentional before entering spaces. Pray, center yourself. Remember who you are and who sent you. Because it's not just you adapting to the room, it's the room adapting to you. And when the atmosphere shifts, not everyone welcomes it. Some resist without knowing why, which leads to the next reason. Why unprovoked hostility often appears in your life, and why it's actually a sign you're right where you need to be. Number 4. Resistance is proof of your assignment. Picture a lighthouse in a storm. Its beam cuts through the darkness, guiding ships to safety. But to a thief in the night, that same light is blinding, even threatening. That's you. When you enter a space, your presence triggers 2 responses. Attraction from those aligned with your frequency, and resistance from those whose agendas thrive in the dark. Here's the truth. The spiritual realm doesn't waste energy on what doesn't matter. If you're facing pushback, it's not proof you're in the wrong place. It's confirmation you're exactly where you should be. Think about it. When was the last time darkness fought something that wasn't a threat? Never. Opposition is often the loudest validation. But I know, it doesn't feel validating when you're in it. It feels like rejection, isolation, like, what's wrong with me? And this is where many chosen ones miss it. They see resistance as a sign to shrink or pull back. If you understood the spiritual mechanics behind it, you'd stop running from it and start reading it. The enemy doesn't fight random battles. He fights what threatens him. So if people suddenly grow cold, if doors close unexpectedly, if conversations shift when you enter, it's not always sabotage. Sometimes it's spiritual defense. They sense the truth you carry and it pushes against what they've built in secret. This is why you must release the need for universal approval. Your calling isn't up for a vote. You're here to obey the one who sent you. Resistance often comes right before breakthrough, but most give up there, mistaking warfare for failure. And there's something deeper than resistance. When your presence forces people to face truths they've avoided for years, it's the spiritual equivalent of shaking a sleeping soul awake. That's exactly where we're going next. Number 5. You carry the frequency of truth. Imagine striking a tuning fork. The moment it vibrates, Everything in the room tuned to the same pitch will start vibrating too, and everything out of tune will crack, warp, or fall silent. That's what happens when you show up. Truth is not just something you speak, it's something you carry. It's woven into the way you walk, the way you look at people, the way you stay calm when others are losing control. And the thing about truth is, it doesn't negotiate. It doesn't bend to fit someone's comfort. It simply exists and forces everything around it to respond. For some, your energy feels like alignment, like their soul just got tuned, like a long-lost clarity is coming back into focus. But for others, it feels like disruption, like their illusions are being challenged, like their carefully built walls are starting to crack. You've probably noticed this in conversations. You're not even trying to confront anyone, but suddenly, someone gets defensive. They change the subject. They avoid eye contact. They accuse you of judging them when you haven't said a word. That's because truth has a sound, and they're hearing it through your presence. This is why you've been misunderstood. Why people have projected motives onto you that you never had. It's not about what you said. It's about what your spirit broadcasted. And here's the thing. You can't switch this frequency off. You can't dim it to make others more comfortable. Because it's not a mood. It's not a personality trait. It's an assignment. When you carry truth, you become a living catalyst. And catalysts bring change. Change is beautiful, but it's also uncomfortable. Because change demands that something old has to die before something new can live. This is why some seasons in your life have felt lonely. It's not that you're unlikable. It's that the truth you carry forces a choice in others. Grow or go. And this is also why the timing of where you show up matters. Because when truth meets divine timing, things accelerate. Processes that would have taken years can shift in weeks. Doors can open unexpectedly. Cycles can end abruptly. And that's exactly where we're headed next. Because the next reason will explain why some of your most significant moments in life felt too perfectly timed to be random. Why you often walk into situations right when a turning point is about to happen. And why. That's not coincidence. It's orchestration. Number 6. Divine timing speaks through you. Picture a clock striking midnight. For hours, the hands have been moving quietly, almost unnoticed. Then suddenly, the chime breaks the silence. It's not random. It's right on time. That's what happens when you arrive in certain places. You don't always see the invisible preparation, the spiritual countdown that's been ticking long before you showed up. But when you enter a space, it signals that something is about to shift. Sometimes you're sent to deliver a word. Sometimes you're sent to make a connection. Sometimes you're simply sent to be there, and your presence alone becomes a marker in someone else's timeline. This is why certain people remember the exact moment they met you, why a casual conversation you forgot about became the turning point for them. Because heaven positioned you there, at the intersection of their need and God's plan. And here's the thing, this timing doesn't just work for others, it works for you too. You've been in situations where doors seemed closed for years, and then suddenly, one day, everything lined up in a way that made you think, why now? Because now was when it was supposed to happen. Not earlier, not later. But there's a catch. When you carry divine timing, you also carry divine interruption. You'll be pulled into situations you didn't plan for. You'll feel sudden nudges to call someone. You'll be placed in rooms you didn't fight to enter. And these moments will often feel inconvenient, until you see the fruit later. It's like showing up at a friend's house right before they were about to make a terrible decision, and your visit changed the course of their life. You thought you were just stopping by. Heaven knew you were right on schedule. This is also why you can't measure your impact only by what you see immediately. Sometimes you're planting seeds that won't sprout for years. Sometimes you're the closing chapter in someone's season. Sometimes you're the opening line. But here's where it gets even deeper. When divine timing aligns with your calling, it doesn't just affect moments, it affects destinies. And the most powerful sign of that is not always visible in the moment. Which brings us to the final reason. The one most chosen ones don't realize until years later. The one that explains why your presence lingers in people's lives long after you've gone. It's the reason you'll never be just another person in someone's story. And when you understand this last one, everything else we've talked about will click into place. Number 7. You are a walking prophecy. Imagine holding an ancient scroll. The ink is faded, the edges worn, but every word on it still carries power. It's not meant to sit on a shelf. It's meant to be read, lived, fulfilled. That's you. Your life isn't just a series of random events. It's a living message. Every victory, every heartbreak, every lesson, every tear. They're all chapters in a story that heaven started writing before you were even born. And here's the mystery most people miss. Prophecy is not always spoken. Sometimes it's embodied. Sometimes you are the prophecy. When people encounter you, they're not just meeting a person. They're coming face to face with a promise, a reminder of something God said long ago. To them, to their family, to their lineage. This is why you've been remembered in ways you didn't expect. Why someone you met briefly can recall every detail about you years later. Why your words, cause, or even your silence have stayed with them. Because you weren't just there, you were a sign, a marker, a living testimony that what God says, He will do. But here's the weight of it. Being a walking prophecy is not always glamorous. It means carrying pieces of a story you don't fully understand yet. It means being asked to trust the author, even when the plot twists make no sense. It means your life will sometimes be a message long before it becomes a miracle. And yet, it's also the most powerful assignment you can have, because a spoken prophecy can be forgotten. A written prophecy can be ignored, but a living prophecy is undeniable. This is why some people can't explain why they feel hope when you walk in, or why others feel convicted without you saying a word. It's because your very existence confirms that God is still moving, still keeping promises, still writing stories. And here's the part I want you to hold close. When you understand you're a walking prophecy, you stop living small, you stop apologizing for your presence, you stop doubting your worth, because you realize you're not here to just pass through rooms, you're here to shift them, mark them, leave them different from how you found them. From the first moment we began this conversation, I told you. The last sign would explain everything. This is it. You're not too much. You're not too intense. You're not too different. You are exactly what you were designed to be. A living word sent to the right places at the right time, to awaken what's been asleep. And that is why your energy breaks every room you enter. You didn't find this message by accident. You didn't stumble here because of a random click. Heaven has been guiding you, shaping you, preparing you for this exact moment. Every strange reaction you faced, every unspoken tension in a room, every time you felt the atmosphere shift the moment you walked in. It was never just about the moment, it was about the mission. Your presence disrupts darkness. Your silence speaks volumes. You shift atmospheres without trying. You carry resistance as proof of your assignment. You broadcast the frequency of truth. You arrive in divine timing. And above all, you are a walking prophecy. This is not something you do. It's something you are. And when you understand that, you stop asking, "Why am I like this?" And you start saying, "This is who I'm meant to be." I know it hasn't been easy. I know there have been moments you wished you could just blend in. Moments where you questioned if maybe it would be simpler to stay quiet, to stay small, to stop showing up. But the truth is, the rooms you walk into need what you carry. The people you encounter, whether they realize it or not, need the shift you bring. You don't have to force it, you just have to be it. And maybe, as you've been listening today, you've started to see your past differently. Maybe the awkward silences, the sudden conflicts, the doors that seem to open and close without warning, weren't rejection, weren't failure. They were signs. Signs that you were never ordinary. Signs that you've been chosen for something bigger than yourself. So here's what I want you to do. If this word spoke to your spirit, share it with another chosen one, because they might be walking through the same confusion you once did, and your share could be the thing that makes it click for them. And before you go, I want you to type something in the comments. If you've made it all the way here to the end, I want you to write, "I carry the light," because speaking it is the first step to living it. And now, there's something else you need to hear. It's already waiting for you on the screen. Click on it. Let it take you deeper, because your journey as a chosen one is just beginning.